I'd like to thank you, the organization, for inviting me. I'd like to thank you also the European Cybersecurity Organization to ask me to carry on this presentation, and as well I'd like to thank you, Vitrocis, that will actually support me in being here. What we are going to talk in the next half an hour is related to ECSO Cybersecurity Organization, which actually is an European public and private partnership on cybersecurity. It's the tool for implementing the public and private partnership. And we are going to talk a little bit about the organization itself, and we are going to drill down in the working group 5, which actually I co-chair with other people, and talking about training, cyber ranges, and cybersecurity awareness. I'm going to just report a first-hand experience in working in this, being part of this organization, which actually was built, was set up in 2016, last year in June, so it's pretty recent, but long path has been done. Okay, let's talk about a little bit the public and private partnership on cybersecurity. This is a new way to, the Commission signed it up in 2016. This public and private partnership, because it's a part of a solution in carry on the fighting and assure more security related to the cyber domain. So the aim is to foster the cooperation between public and private, very necessary, stimulate the cybersecurity industry, and coordinate the security industrial resource in Europe. Has been make available a budget for this project, which actually is 450 million, and through the program Horizon 2020 for the 2016-2020, there are 4 different calls that is possible to participate, and the industry, the players are expected to invest 3 times more, leverage factor of 3. This is also another way to invest in cybersecurity. The ECSO approach, the ECSO organization, is just the way to implement is an organization with based in Belgium. It's not only to support the implementation of the CPPP, but also to take in issues like research, innovations, and all the topic related to within the market, and protect and development of the digital single market in Europe. And all of this is made within the framework of the European cybersecurity strategy. So the really strength of this approach is that we have public and private can work together, just make a discussion, work in the working groups to pre-digest some topics, and and they are able to build a consensus between the public and private. It's a bidirectional way. So when the public need to enforce some standardization or some policy, they have a place where they can be discussed in advance, and so the European Commission can have also a very good source of information talking about this. So the purpose and the objective are the short term, the medium term, and long term. These are what the ECSO organization stated. Is a new organization, but a lot has been already done. So the organization has already provided information and some useful information to the European Commission related to the previous 4 CPP calls that are now part of the project. Actually suggest produced a document that has been recently delivered to the European Commission before the presentation of a new European cybersecurity strategy held months ago in Tallinn under the Estonian presidency of Council. And this is from where did start the organization. Just to put together an industrial proposal, and these are some points main elements that have been put in this document, that it is at the base of the ECSO constituency. As well, these are the objectives. These are the objectives that actually wanted to achieve, and as you can see, there are very huge, very impressive way to address this kind of problem. Another pillars of the organization is related to the strategic research innovation agenda that actually the CPPP want to define the priority for the research and the innovation for European cybersecurity industry in the upcoming years. And the proposal actually emphasizes on 2 main points: to transform the innovation and application in business opportunity, and to create new technical solution service to support the development in the European global market, and so bringing growth to the cybersecurity industry for the Europe. Being part of this organization obviously puts a lot of benefits, especially in the cyber domain. Sharing information, collaborate all together. It's the starting point to achieve any kind of the objective. So, is it possible working inside the association, having lots of input, strategical and political, being closer to the proposal, documentation, working together with the collaboration with the European institution, participation in decision making, networking with the stakeholder, and etc. Like also having a platform to participate to consortia for research and this is, of course, a lot of time consuming. It's pretty good. It's a very big work that the people that are actively involved there carry on. And I can say from my experience, I've been in ECSO with my company since the beginning. We are one of the founder members. And we are participating at least in all the working groups. I'm a co-chair in the working group number 5 that later on I will show you, I'll say a few words about it. And it's an amazing contest to work. It's possible to find a lot of very interesting people and sharing and grow in the professional way, and actually it's really glad to be part of it. These are kind of 2 criteria to be to be respected in order to become a member of ECSO, and be a legal entity first. And there are in one of the ECSO countries, or be a public body in an ECSO country. This is the only way to be part of it, not as a single person or individual person or whatever. These are the category of the member which has been segmented, the participation. And large companies, SMEs, user, regional, local administration, public administration, research, etc. And this is a little overview what are the state of the art of the entire organization. So you can see that the participation is pretty high. There are last year 132 founding members, and nowadays 218 organizations already actively working, and still counting, because one of the mandates is to increase the memberships. The NAPAC is the National Public Administration Committee and Partnership Board. Is composed by 2 subgroups and actively work on ECSO as an advisory group for the board of the director and the strategic level. This is the first group. And the NAPAC Research and Innovation is an advisory on the research and innovation topics. I just put this slide on not to talk here, but just to leave as a reference to complete the presentation of ECSO, because the real goal of today is to drill down into the group related to the cybersecurity awareness. This is an overview related to the governance of the entire organization. As you can see, the category of the members are actually worked in a different working groups. Actually, and then there is a coordination and strategy committee and scientific and technological committee, and all the decisions are taken from the board of directors, and the board of directors provide the information and advisory to the European Commission. These are the working groups, and with a high-level distinction of what each of them actually are is related to. And the process, it's a kind of ongoing process, the working that is taken in those groups, And each group actually have its own chair and then its own missions, vision, and actually strategy to achieve the main goal. We are going now to drill down a little bit, very high-level overview as well. This information I leave you for references. So just also a point of contact, direct point of contact inside the organization, which actually the policy managers that work on the activity. So the working group 1 is related to standard and certification, and is one of the most actively at the moment to overview of this, just to try to put in place a very sensitive topic, the standardization in European nowadays. The working group 2 related to markets, related to funds and international cooperation. The working group number 3 related to vertical, like industry 4.0, energy, transport, finance, banks, and public administration, etc. The working group number 4 related to SMEs and regions and East European regions. The working group number 5 related to the education, training, awareness, and cyber ranging, so exercises. And the work, last one, but not least, one of the most important, the working group number 6, the strategic and innovation agenda, just provide to inform a suggestion to deliver to the European Commission for the 2018-2020 Horizon working program. This is the aim. Now, having presented very quickly, that's the organization, what is the context. Now I just want to share with you the work we are doing at the working group number 5. Actually, each working group is split in sub-working. For example, the working group number 5, there are 3 different sub-working groups. And the one related to the cybersecurity awareness is the 5.3. And now we are I want to share with you all the activity we have done it so far since the kickoff that was in November last year, December last year. These are a little, let me say, sum up of the general information of the company that are, at the moment are registered in the sub-working group, 25, 46 actively member working, and they are represented 16 countries and 6 out of 8 categories. Here, it's a distribution of the country members composition. So it's the work that we are doing actually more or less day after day phase all the different international point of view. So, and this is the category member composition. So when we are working, when we deal with fixing deliverable, whatever, we have to deliver with different dimension related to the different people are composing the group. And this is very challenging, but it is also very rewarding because give a very broader point of view. This is the vision, general vision of the sub-working group related to the cybersecurity awareness. It's very general, as everybody knows. I mean, cybersecurity awareness, can be everything, anything, or nothing. And so the real challenge is try to be concrete and deliver something that could be immediately useful. So this is the strategy that the groups actually after discussions adopted. So we want to address specifically what are the initiatives that needed from a CPP point of view. So the priority, what are the initiatives already available at the European level, what are other needs or gaps, whatever. These are the, let me say, what we are trying to address, what we are, the direction that we have so far to address this kind of very, very challenging objective. Objective that this one actually the reinforce in general the trust in the digital environment of all citizens. Cybersecurity situation awareness and social responsibility, reinforce of trust, behavior security, security tool for awareness, support for incidents and problems, demand and regulatory adequacy, awareness campaign to a UK private and public decision maker. These are the main principles that we actually want to follow: simplification, practice, focus, up-to-date, miscellaneous. We want to be active and not just producing documentation, and we want to produce metric and feedback and coordinate with other bodies like local, national, or even other working groups. This is actually the general action plan that we are following. At the moment, we are trying to build a kind of database collecting all the initiatives that are related to the cybersecurity awareness that are in place in Europe, at least in the last year, in the 2016 and 2017. And try to integrate these events and like make some kind of integration with other source of authoritative information coming from national level, a European level, and then try to analyze to produce qualitative and quantitative information to deliver the information to targeted people with some specific report. Okay, this is around a situation awareness model that we want to use to force ourselves to think about a model. There is not one model that we can think about when we talk about cybersecurity awareness. But in somehow to be concrete, we have to come down and get to something more concrete. So we want to also define this kind of model to use when we monitor, integrate, analyze, and report all this kind of information. This is an internal organization that we have tried to use to achieve those objectives. At least nowadays, we have split up. We try to get commitment from and ownership from the different members that are working in the sub-working group. And we have split it related to the more or less what are the deliverables that we want to achieve. How do we interact to each other? between face-to-face meeting. These are the meetings that we've taken so far. We have the kickoff meeting in November last year, and we have other two different face-to-face meetings, and we are going to have another one next at the end of October in Malaga. In between, we try to, on demand, depends on the needs, having remote calls and exchange contributes by email. These are, I'm almost finishing, these are the deliverables that the sub-working group is committed to present and to deliver, and so you can see the cybersecurity awareness activity already in place in the European landscape, mid to long-term analysis and of actors involved in cybersecurity awareness in Europe, know which are the players, and defining a model, a CPP, situation awareness model, having a gap analysis and the recommendation for actions undertaken by the European Commission related to the ECSO participants segment, and report and contain information to other funding mechanisms. These are tentative of time planning, so we are going, as you can see, we should be able to deliver the first part of at least the first 3 deliverables by the end of this year. 1 year of working. That's would be a very big success, having set up this group only 1 year ago. And that's it. Hope I gave you a little, let me say, overview idea of what we are doing in an ECSO organization. Here you can find all the information firsthand, the official website. Thank you. Are there any question or anything that I can ask? I'll try to do. Yes.
If something new happens in the world of cybersecurity that we need to inject into your program, therefore get more awareness around, I guess, can that only be brought to you by your members? And then I guess the second question is, how quickly could you get that into the program and get that out across Europe?
I don't know. I'm not sure to even understand completely the question. You mean how quickly you can get involved into the activity of the...
Yeah, partly. I mean, I'm clearly not talking about new viruses or new attacks, but if something just genuinely so new in the world of cyberspace, because it does change quite rapidly, yeah? Would it need the members of your organization to bring that new thing to the table, or could anybody just say, hey, we've spotted this trend, we found this thing, and send it to you?
Basically, what we come up a decision related to discussion, and the deliverable, the mission of each working group are actually defined and discussed between the active members. So everything and the final decision are taken by consensus of the members. So if there are no consensus on one point, the ex-organization, actually through the board of directors, doesn't have an official position, just have a discussion going on. So it basically is a good place to discuss and having immediately feedback from a public point of view, from an association, from no-profit, for-profit, or for enterprise businesses, the enterprise company that actually want to talk about business first. I'm working in an enterprise company, and the ECSO organization is okay, part of a solution for the sake of the cybersecurity, yes, but first it's also a good place for business. At least we think so far. I don't know. Hope to have give you a little bit answer to your question. Thank you very much.